Hey guys, Ogre Fabworks here. Welcome back to the channel. Wanted to talk to you today about lights in the fabrication world. So any of you guys who are welders out there or even mechanics who do a lot of work on different things, you know how valuable different light sources can be. We're going to talk today about some of the lights that I have, what I've used, and what I think is the best path moving forward to have in terms of lights. So when I first started off, I bought the Harbor Freight light like this. This is the first generation, or at least one of the early generations. And I had pretty good luck with it, for 30 some dollars. They're quite bright. They have different functionality in terms of, different ends of lights, this bar here or the tip. But one of the things that I've found kind of lacking is the strength of the magnet here. They're relatively easy to knock over. But I do like the height here, being able to set it down on something and shine light from different angles. Found that to be very useful. Just a few times I found this end here to be useful. Most of the time when it's like, working on a semi, or, I had some projects for welding and doing things like that. I think, what was that one? It was for a mud flap, some mount for a mud flap. But the newer generation, which is here with this double knuckle, I found this to be the weak point in their design. It breaks very easily. I've already broken a few of them. And like I said, the magnet's pretty weak. So I actually looked into different styles of lights like this. And I really didn't like the functionality that they had with the pushing of the button to cycle through different styles of light functions. So like the stream light, it had a bar on the back or something like that, so it would, shine down at your project and then shine in your face and blind you. I thought that was pretty stupid. I think the lights were a lot smaller in size than these Harbor Freight ones, which I didn't like those either. I wanted to get it up off the ground. And what I kept running across as a replacement light for something like this was this type of style. So this is a Snap-on line. I got this off the Snap-on truck. But one of the things that I didn't like about this style of light is I was so used to working on a project, say I'm welding something here, and if I put the light like that, it doesn't really cast light on top of the project. So I never really thought that this style of light, be it Harbor Freight, Snap-on, Streamlight, whatever, this style of light, I never really found it to be all that practical. But I think what I was really missing out on was just, a small key piece that would make this light so much more useful, because the magnets are much stronger on these than they are in the Harbor Freights, or at least this style of light. I found them to be a lot more robust. I've dropped these, a ton. They're just a lot more useful style of light. If I could just get around casting light onto the project, whatever I'm working on. Plus, if you're in a tighter spot underneath a vehicle or something, this is just a much more useful way to go. So what is it that I was missing? What's that key piece? And I think that, here, let me just adjust you. I fixed that with these towers here that I built. It's a very simple design, so we'll talk about this one first. It's just a magnet on the bottom. This one's a relatively weaker magnet. I think it's like a 25 pound. Knowing what I know now, I'd go to like a 50 or 100 pound magnet, so I just need to swap that out. But there's just a little bolt here, with a nut on the inside tightened down. So I just welded a plate there. If it focuses on the bottom, you can see the welds. And then just tacked a piece of angle on top. And what's really useful there is you can set it up and you take your light, and then now you can cast light on your project. And if you needed it to be 90, you could move it to 90, if you wanted it the other way. There's just a lot of versatility with a tower like this. And you can set the magnet wherever you want. Something else that I found really useful, because you may ask, why do you have two towers? Well, it's because one is a magnet, and the other one, for a fixture table, has a bolt in the bottom. So you can see the plate there. I just tacked it on and put some tacks on the bolt on the inside there. And again, tack this on top. And the nice thing there is you can slide it onto your fixture table and there's no knocking it over. Versus this one, you can knock over relatively easy because, again, that's a weaker magnet. I need to get a stronger magnet there. But in my opinion, this style of light is the best style, versus these. And all you need to do, especially if you're a welder fabricator, is just fab up a short little tower like this. Put a magnet on the bottom or a bolt on the bottom if you have a fixture table. And then you're ready to go. You can adjust the angle of the light itself, because these things rotate. And I just found them to be a lot more useful. So for anybody out there looking for the best light for, welder, fabricator, mechanic, things like that, I think these are the best style. They're most robust, best features, best magnet. I would get these over, these style of lights. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. I'm coming out with some more videos and other kinds of tools and little hacks that I find very useful as a welder fabricator. All right, well, thanks for watching.